Hey guys, Jeremy here with Truth and Requiem. Today I wanted to do an unboxing and kind of a little bit of a review on the Xbox One Fusion controller by PowerA. So this is an alternative to the Elite controller. It's a lot of similar functions, obviously not as in-depth, but it is only $79.99 compared to $150. So if you really want to get into something, you gotta check this out. So let's unbox it. So it is a wired controller. Some of you might like that, some of you might not. Personally, I don't mind too much. It's a nice braided cord. The thumb pads they made them a little larger and they're apparently tuned, which I'm not exactly sure what that means. The controller feels pretty good in the hands. It almost feels a little bit slimmer than the Xbox controller, the original. One thing that I was really interested in, especially the Elite controller, is to have the trigger locks to make it a shorter pull. And so this does have that. You can see the difference right there, all the way. Trigger lock on, about halfway. So that's pretty nice. They feel good, they feel nice and crispy. One thing that I did read from quite a few people is they didn't really like the press of the bumpers. They don't feel as clicky as the original Xbox controller. I don't know, I don't mind them. They feel a little softer, maybe easier to press. Maybe that's why they did it. It does have remappable back keys. A lot of complaints are that people's hands just don't fit quite right on these. Putting mine on here, I have medium to large size hands and I don't mind it, but I probably honestly won't really use these. We're gonna plug this in a second and I'll show you how these light up around here. Yeah, so for only 80 bucks, not too bad, you know, 20 more than a regular controller, and you get a little bit of the pro feel to the controller. All right, so let's get some hands-on time with our PowerA Fusion wired Xbox One controller. So we got a pretty long cord, especially for me when my system's just right here on the desk. We're gonna pop this baby in. So first let's check out the color options that you can do with this controller. So if you see on this back panel right here, you've got a number 1, a number 2, and a light button. So if you kind of touch those, I believe number 1 is gonna be this top part, and you can go ahead and scroll through a bunch of different colors. Pretty cool, nothing too crazy. Bottom one is going to be your thumbsticks. And if you hit the light button, that is the intensity of the light. So you can go from highest to lowest settings. It seems to be mostly just on these thumbsticks that way. As you're playing and you are moving down, the LED doesn't just blind you or something, because maybe not everyone's gonna do these lights. Again, these are where you can remap different buttons to. It's kind of weird because there's a very specific area your hands have to fit, and they're not super sticky, they're a little smooth, and they don't stick out like the Elite buttons. So I'm not sure that I would actually use them. You'd really have to be holding the controller kind of weird out here. Plus I've been playing Xbox for too long that I don't know that I would be able to, or really that I would want to switch from the XAYB. So the XAYB do not light up, if you're wondering. I don't really mind that because lights are just kind of, you know, whatever. The D-pad is not quite super raised. Maybe it could be a little bit more. It could be a little grippier too, but it's crispy, it feels good. The oversized thumbsticks feel good in the hands. So another thing that is interesting that you'll want to keep in mind is it has the 3.5mm audio jack, whereas your typical Xbox One controller has their proprietary port. Now this is important because your typical, the headset that comes with your Xbox One and most other headsets, if they have like a mix amp like the Astro A40s, they're gonna plug directly into these OEM Xbox ports. Whereas some of these aftermarket ones with the 3.5 are not going to work with those specific adapters like the mix amps and stuff. It'll just have to go from headphone to here. You know, that's nice because you could just plug in a pair of headphones to this and rock out, which is cool. But keep in mind that you won't be able to use specific things with this, whereas a typical controller you will be able to. So that's just one downside. But overall, after playing with this controller for a while, I'm digging it. This is pretty cool. For only 20 bucks more, than a typical controller. You get something that feels pretty good, feels sturdy. It's got some lights, I guess, that's kind of cool, but you know, you got the trigger stops to get faster firing. Go ahead and check one of these out. I would recommend it, honestly. It's not that expensive and they work pretty well. Here's a little comparison. Side by side, they look pretty similar, not a huge difference, but it does feel good. So thanks for checking out this review of the PowerA Fusion wired Xbox One controller. If you guys pick it up, you dig it, let me know. If not, that's cool too. So if you want to see more of these videos, subscribe and let me know. Thanks.